This is Fight Forecast. I'm Dricus du Plessis. Welcome to Africa's #1 combat sports show. Coming up on this show, former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis discusses his upcoming fight against Kamaru Usman on July 18th.
You know, we've been talking about the fight for a long time. He's mentioned the fight way before we made the fight, and I said, well, cool, I'll take that fight.
We head to Cape Town, where the Pride Fighting Academy takes center stage, 25 years in the making, and one of South Africa's most famous MMA gyms.
You know, we just wanted to have killers. We wanted to be the best MMA gym in the country.
And as always, we take a look at what's making headlines in the world of combat sports right here on Fight Forecast.
Conor McGregor says the clock is ticking on his legendary UFC career. The Irish superstar has revealed he plans to have just 2 more fights in the octagon, starting with his blockbuster return against Max Holloway at UFC 329 next month. The former 2-division champion says one final fight in 2027 could bring the curtain down on one of the greatest careers in mixed martial arts. Despite almost 5 years away from competition, McGregor remains the biggest draw in combat sports. Demand for UFC 329 tickets has exploded, with premium resale seats reportedly fetching more than $24,000. Love him or hate him, nobody moves the needle quite like the Notorious. The fallout from UFC Freedom continues. Alex Pereira is unhappy with the stoppage in his heavyweight title fight against Gane, claiming illegal shots to the back of the head led to the finish. With referee Herb Dean standing by his decision, the debate over fighter safety and officiating shows no signs of slowing down. Amanda Nunes's long-awaited return remains on hold. The former champion is eager to face Kayla Harrison, but Harrison's recovery from a neck injury means fans will have to wait a little longer for what many believe is the biggest fight in women's MMA history. Mauricio Ruffy continues to emerge as one of the UFC's brightest stars. His statement win over Michael Chandler has propelled him firmly into the lightweight title conversation, while Chandler has now dropped out of the UFC rankings, marking a significant shift in one of the promotion's toughest divisions. And finally, Conor McGregor has revealed that discussions once took place over a staggering $200 million crossover showdown with boxing superstar Terence Crawford. The deal never materialized, but it's another reminder of the crossover appeal that has made McGregor one of the biggest names in combat sports history.
The Pride Fighting Academy in Cape Town is one of South Africa's most famous MMA gyms. Started 25 years ago by the Manemi brothers, it has taken center stage with various different champions over the years. One such champion is Adrian Sanchez, who we've featured before, but the focus now is on the future, retaining belts and claiming new ones in other promotions.
Every great fighter needs a place to call home, and for many of South Africa's top mixed martial artists, that home is Pride Fighting Academy in Cape Town. What started as a vision to build one of the country's premier MMA gyms has evolved into something much bigger. Founder Mike Monamni says while producing champions was always the goal, success today is measured just as much by the culture they've created.
PFA is about 25, 26 years old now. We started in November 2001. Myself and my brother started as an academy just for fighters. We didn't want a commercial aspect. We just wanted guys to fight and compete. At that time, we were putting on our own shows. We did pride rules, so stomps and penalty kicks and knees to the head of your opponents. You know, we just wanted to have killers. We wanted to be the best MMA gym in the country, and that started 26 years ago. The journey has seen many fighters come and go. Everybody's added to our story and taken away a little bit. I often joke around and say how many gyms we've opened over the last 26 years where the guys have come in and learned from us and moved on. But it's been an amazing journey. We've had guys come just to learn how to fight, then guys are bringing their children and their wives and the whole family. So we've become a community space from wanting to just be a stable of killers to a community of family-orientated people who also happen to train fighters.
From helping launch the careers of South African MMA stars to watching his wife Jess fulfill her dream of competing inside the EFC hexagon, PFA has become more than just a gym. It's become a family.
My wife has come along for the ride. She was one of our first members when we started becoming a commercial gym. And she went from just doing like a ladies kickboxing class when we started the commercial aspect to actually becoming a competitive jiu-jitsu practitioner and then getting a bug to fight and I want an amateur fight just for, and then it turned into, okay, a long amateur career and a professional fight career. So she's had some really good moments, some tough fights, and she's still at it, she's still keen. And my son also trains, he's made his mind up, he's 15 now, he's made his mind up that he wants to be a professional athlete as well. So yeah, family business.
And after years of building athletes and changing lives, Mike says the journey has been every bit as rewarding as the victories inside the cage.
I think success is based on your community. A lot of people base success on like belts or titles or the amount of fighters you have in your gym. For me, it's the strength of our community. We are a very strong family-orientated space and we've got such a strong community, and our community shone through like during COVID where business was closing left, right and center. We were able to stay open based on the strength of our community. So based on the family that we've created in this gym, and as a result, you know, I think success has been reached many years ago. There's many layers to success. That for me is probably the ultimate goal. But in terms of like combat and fights, yeah, we've had some good success when it comes to the professional athletes. You know, a couple of champions in boxing and in MMA. It's been a good run.
Bonjour. You know you don't always have to go all in. Every game needs a bit of in-game management. Reset. Breathe for a second. The best managers always stick to the plan. Play within the lines, that's how the game works best. And hey, if things feel off, take a break or set limits. No harm in taking a moment on the sideline. And just remember to bet the responsible way with Betway.
Well, UFC Freedom 250 is a thing of the past. What an incredible show, what a spectacle, and what a statement by the UFC. Joining me as always, the former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis to unpack what was an incredible event. I mean, that band, the performances with the walkouts, not to mention the fights themselves. It was a spectacular event.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if you look at this event, since the day they started talking about this event, it's been months in the making. People have been almost like, criticizing the event, criticizing the UFC, even Donald Trump, and everybody was like, this is not going to work, they can't fight outside. What about the bugs? What about the weather? The UFC just, when's the last time they've put on a spectacle event like this that they've missed? If you look at UFC Noche, if you look at UFC 300, all these flagship, all these almost massive events, and now with the 250 Freedom event. Guys, I knew it was going to be great. The fights they chose were perfectly matched, and what I expected a show, from the press conference to weigh-ins to the walkouts. I knew it was going to be spectacular, but they outdid themselves. I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. The walkouts, the band that did the walkouts. It was amazing. It was amazing. But like you say, not even talking about the fights. The first time ever that there 7 fights, 7 finishes, all finishes. I think all TKO and KOs. It was amazing. I mean, we had to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch it, but damn, was it worth it?
No, it was absolutely worth it. Your predictions, I mean, you had it spot on. Until Sean O'Malley, right? Yeah. After that, it changed a little bit. But let's talk about Sean O'Malley, because I think he's been under pressure to put on a performance. And with that walk-off KO, I mean...
Yeah, listen, Sean O'Malley, I'm happy we talked about it, but I didn't do a prediction because that was really one fight where I went, which O'Malley is going to show up here? Because after the last couple of performances, he almost had, there was a blueprint to beating him. But, following that blueprint is not that easy. And Zahabi being an incredible fighter, he did great in that second round. He was doing great until he got clipped. But Sean O'Malley was firing on all cylinders, and happy for him. There was a lot of pressure on him going into this fight to get that win, and he did an incredible job, and I'm really happy for him. I think he's a great champion. When he was champion, he's a great guy to watch fight. It's always exciting. So I'm happy he got that win, and he's back in the run.
The man's a sniper.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't miss.
Do you expect him now to go on a charge, the confidence he's got from that performance?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I feel that when he lost and I lost, I think we were in the same path. I don't know if he has done that because it happened again. And I think that's where him and his team need to go and work on, because Sean O'Malley fighting like Sean O'Malley, I don't think there's anybody in the world that can just strike with him like that. When a guy like Merab is on you and just grinding and you know, he has a win over the current champion in Peter Yan. But we saw Peter Yan versus Merab, which was the best Peter Yan we've ever seen. Yeah. So that's an amazing fight, since there is history, because the first win for O'Malley was controversial. There was a lot of people saying Peter Yan won. I thought he won that fight, but it was super close. But a lot of people thought O'Malley won the fight. And, you know, that was a flip of the coin. I wasn't mad that O'Malley won, but I wasn't mad if Peter Yan won that fight. So that's a great fight to make. But he has to understand that there's changes that's going to be. Fighting Zahabi and fighting Peter Yan is not the same guy, but, you know, I would like to watch that fight. You know, O'Malley versus Yan too.
Speaking of controversial, and a controversial character is Hokit. His performance wasn't controversial though, but whatever he said was afterwards. But he impressed, man, against Derek Lewis. He's now 10-0 in the UFC. Should we be getting excited about Josh Hokit?
Yeah, I think right now he's getting in his own way, saying something stupid like that. Well, I mean, freedom of speech, one thing, but it's so irrelevant, and you know, it was so. It's not even something that people are talking about right now.
Read the room.
Read the room. It's not a topic that is of discussion. It's such a random joke he tried to make that didn't land at all. I think it was a mistake. But I mean, he's new in the game, and that's how we learn. I mean, if you say something and you like live by it, but that's not something anybody lives by. That was trying to be funny, and I don't think it worked out. So I think it's going to cost him. I think that comment's going to cost him, but. That aside, I don't really care about that. If it costs him, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. What I do think is he's a much better fighter than initially thought. Obviously, with the Curtis Blaydes fight, we know he can wrestle. Yeah. He's a top level wrestler, but the striking with Curtis Blaydes was I mean, that was an absolute war. Curtis Blaydes being knocked out by Derek Lewis, cool. And Curtis Blaydes not being known for his stand-up, but Derek Lewis, the most knockouts, has a win over Gane. He is a scary guy. Hokit being a very small heavyweight, I almost said middleweight because that's his size, but man, was I impressed with him. I knew he had the wrestling advantage, but he made Derek Lewis look like he was never been on a wrestling mat or on a grappling mat. And then round two, I'm thinking, just take him down again, win this fight. And he goes and just straight out strikes him, but not just with wild punches, calculated punches. I was very impressed the way he moved. His size is a problem there, but he's not trying to overpower these guys. What he's doing is using volume, footwork, his speed and agility to beat these guys, because at heavyweight, not a lot of guys have great wrestling. He does. So he always has that in the back pocket. And now with that kind of striking, man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his fighting, 100%. He's very exciting.
Do you have advice for him? Because he feels like he's trying too hard to be the villain here.
Yeah, I mean...
Is that part of the game or his identity?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything weird. Like this before. I mean, maybe in WWE, but it's borderlining to being weird. Yeah. It's borderline for me to... I don't want to watch it. Like, when he has the mic, I don't want to see it. Yeah. It's too intense, and the antic, it's too much. It's too much. I do believe so. And maybe just I see what he's going for. Go for it. He's like maybe a Colby Covington, but he's trying too hard a little. I think just turn it down a notch. Maybe like a Covington, between a Covington and Chael Sonnen. That's what I see. But they got it. When they did it right. Yeah. I think he's trying to create something new, and for me, it's not working. But with the fight style, I have no advice for him. Keep on going.
Speaking of the heavyweights, Alex Pereira against Cyril Gane. A lot of people got excited about Alex Pereira and his quest for history to win 3 belts in 3 different weight divisions. But Cyril Gane is a problem in heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, I got that one wrong because I truly believe, like, the reason I got it wrong is I'm such a big Alex Pereira fan for what he's been able to do in a short period of time and how amazing he is as a combat sports athlete. He's an incredible fighter. Yeah. What he's done for the sport, just always showing up, always willing to fight, and doing it in spectacular fashion, always spectacular fights. And I was hoping that he would win. I was rooting for him to get this massive honor of being the first 3-division champion. And Cyril Gane came and said, this is my weight division, and it was a hard fight to pick. I picked Alex, but Cyril Gane is a big man. His style he's very light on his feet. We could see Alex Pereira when he kicked Cyril Gane, he still had that advantage. He has the power. I think the mistake he made, the way he pressured Gane, brilliant. But you can't walk with your hands down here, which is something that's his style. That's the way he fights. And I think he's always willing to take a punch to give one. And once you go up to heavyweight, it only takes one. You can't just take a punch to give one. I mean, he was put down with a jab. It was a jab.
It was a jab.
It was a jab, 100%. And that is the power of these heavyweights. And I think that's where he made the mistake. It was, I'm going to take one to give one. And man, these heavyweights, they don't hit like light heavies or middleweights.
I suppose something that would have softened the blow is the $10 million he got for the fight, reportedly.
Yeah, I mean,
it's mega
it depends.
money.
I mean, it's
mega money, right?
it's amazing. It's great to see that the sport is going to that level, but I don't think there's an amount of money, well, in my opinion, that can buy the feeling of a loss or that can make you feel better, to be honest.
One man who's not feeling great, Ilia Topuria. Firstly, his face was an absolute mess. And Justin Gaethje, I suppose the script writers got it spot on, because an American winning at that event on that stage and doing in the fashion he did, I mean, it just stole all the headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, for Justin Gaethje, the perfect ending. I'm not telling anybody to retire. I'm just saying, if there has ever been a moment at his age, for what he's done in the sport, he's been interim champ twice, I think.
Yeah.
Now being undisputed champion. He is, and he has almost 50% more performance bonuses and bonuses than fights. If there's somebody that deserves to be a champion, to end his career as a champion in this, you can see his whole life, and he always goes out there and puts everything on the line. One of my favorite fighters to watch, always have been. He never has a boring fight. And I got this wrong too, because Ilia is just so good, but Gaethje, the odds were huge. I mean, Gaethje came in there. If you just look at the guys that Gaethje lost to, Ilia knocked out 2 of them.
Yeah.
And Gaethje came out there. And if there ever was a night to fire on all cylinders with the aggression that he always does, with that wild punches, but keeping it clean, that was the night. Because he didn't go crazy. He kept it for Gaethje neat, but he made it a dog fight, which I believe was his key to victory, because if you go with that measured approach, Ilia is too slick and too measured to ever fight him like that. And Gaethje made it ugly. He made it ugly. He made the mistakes, almost, if you can call it that, of dipping his head. But that meant that it was an unorthodox style of fighting, which didn't suit Ilia. And man, when those uppercuts, he went for that single leg, put the hand behind the head, hit those uppercuts. I think it was the first or second round where he caught Ilia, and you can immediately see right in the eye, and his eye was compromised. And well done to Justin Gaethje. I'm a big fan of Ilia. We are good friends, and I feel bad for a man like that to go out. People say quit on the chair. We weren't there. We didn't see everything. We didn't know what feels. I mean, we don't know the damage. It's extremely hard to go and say, listen, do you justify? Do you say yes, it was the right call, or no? There was 1 round left. I thought it was 2-2 going into the 5th. But looks like on the judges' scorecard it was 3-1. I had a 2-2. But I mean, I do believe that Ilia will be back. People are so quick to go, oh, he's done, it's over, 1 loss. They forget all the 17 wins before this, who he's beat, and being a 2-division champion and knocking these guys out, not just winning luckily or close fights. No, he been
knocked them out
on a tear. And it wasn't his night. I do believe he can come back from this 100%. I know he will. Ilia is a phenomenal fighter, make no mistake. It wasn't his night. One thing that I have to say, when they faced off in the octagon, when the ref called them, there was a significant difference in size. Justin Gaethje looked huge against Ilia, but this is the game we play. There is no script, if you can call it that. There is no script, and yeah, man, I hope the best for Ilia. I hope he makes a great comeback. I hope he heals up, and he's going to face some dark places right now. I think mentally, I mean, everybody, especially a first loss, and at the level that it is, now there's all these people saying, oh yeah, finally, he was too arrogant. Man, it's ridiculous. I always say now, I'm telling people, so do you want me or fighters to go and say, no, I think my opponent's so much better than me. I don't think I can win this fight. Who would want to watch that? It's ridiculous. He's played the game perfectly. He is still one of the biggest superstars in this sport. And it wasn't his night, but an incredible fight, nevertheless. You know, he almost got that finish in the second round. I do think he should have gone for that finish a little bit harder. Not in the grappling exchanges, but keeping the punches, because he had Gaethje hurt.
Yeah.
And
The one, he ripped one to the liver.
Yeah, a
You
lot.
could see.
He was setting up that body, and Gaethje was hurt. But, you know, it wasn't a one-sided fight. It was an absolute war. One of the best fights I've ever watched. So, yeah, I mean, big ups to him. Even when he was so compromised with his eyes in that second round, he came out and he fought like an absolute animal.
Do you see him staying in the same weight division?
That's going to be interesting. You know, they say he's heavy. I don't know. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I think he can fight at lightweight. He just has to know that I can't just go walk forward, because that was the one thing that I saw. Walking forward against a bigger guy like Gaethje, once again, the punches hurt more. And his hands were a little bit low, I believe. It almost felt like he tried with the Philly shell, which is something he does on occasion, but this time it felt like he had his hands down the whole time. And Gaethje, with that blitz of his, he was able to catch him, and it was almost like he didn't block any of Gaethje's jabs at all. And I think that was a bit of a problem. Gaethje got ahead with jabbing away, and Ilia took that damage. I mean, I've been in the same situation. The jabs don't hurt right now, and they don't have an effect right now, but with those small gloves, next thing you know, you can't see out of your eye. And I think that was exactly what happened to him.
All right, let's move on. We've obviously got some news. July 18th, Oklahoma City. Dricus du Plessis back in the UFC octagon. Kamaru Usman is the opponent. How are you feeling, man? It's like we've been waiting and waiting for this announcement. We finally have it.
Yeah, I mean, you think you've been waiting, I've been waiting. We've been talking about the fight for a long time. He's mentioned the fight way before we made the fight, and I said, well, cool, I'll take that fight. Because now people say, why don't you fight Imamov? I don't mind that fight either. I want to fight somebody that gets me to my title again. Kamaru Usman, yes, he's a bit older, but now you look at what Gaethje just did. Yeah. So that throws that argument out the window immediately. Kamaru Usman is arguably the best welterweight ever, alongside with George St. Pierre, if you go on title defense and all that. So he started his career out at middleweight, has a win over Sean Strickland, had that very close fight with Hamza Chimaev, and that's why I wanted this fight. What's it going to mean for me to go out there and beat another striker? I've done that many times. I've defended my belt against strikers. I've beaten the best, which is Strickland, at middleweight twice. So why go out there and fight another striker? People are going to be like, yeah, okay, well, we know he can strike. What about the wrestling and grappling because of my last fight? I want to go out there and prove what I've done. Prove, like I said, go out and figure this out and go show the problem that the middleweights have on their hands now, because now I am more complete, and I was a complete fighter, but now I am complete in all areas, and I can't wait to go and show that. It's been long. I was supposed to fight in April, got the injury, and man, I think that was all for a reason, because the fire in me to get back in there is like never before. I'm feeling great. Camp is going great. I know he didn't want to sign the contract. I know that for a fact. I spoke to UFC and they said, we finally convinced him to sign. If you need convincing to sign, that's a problem. But I can't blame him. I'd also not want to fight me right now. It would be the smart move not to sign the fight. But let's go.
Dricus, can't wait to see you in action again. It's been long for us fans who can't wait to see you in action, and that goes down at Oklahoma City. But it's the UFC. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Fights to be made. We've got International Fight Week. Conor McGregor's back. He takes on Max Holloway for the second time. We can't wait to see that in Las Vegas. It's all happening in 2026. The fights to be made, titles to be won, and let's see how Dricus du Plessis goes on his quest to get the middleweight title back.